Ultimately, our job is to dissolve all duality and polarity, to come into divine neutrality within ourselves and on all topics. The divine neutrality is where we have our energetic conversation with our outer reality and with existence itself that says, we're done here, what's next? When you can approach every topic, everything that you see and experience out there with complete divine neutrality, and energy doesn't lie, you can't fake it or manipulate it, with complete neutrality, that is the conversation you're having. That is when you are saying, yeah, we're done here with this. It can go. It's no longer a required thing. Manifestation, co-creation, it's no longer required in our human reality anymore because I'm done with it. And the more and more of us that do that, not from a place of fighting against it or calling it out, but literally just being in that neutral place, is what is dissolving the old matrix. That is how we recode it from within and start to bring online, within and without, the higher dimensional expressions of reality. So here's something that I'm going to have to be a little bit careful with my language, so pay attention. Here's another way for you to challenge yourself to look at all that is out there that is very triggering, that is keeping people looping, that is feeding the duality and polarity within the collective, in relationships, and within the inner beingnesses of many, many people right now. And that is the distorted, inverted matrix. And I try in all of my videos to not speak in terms of duality. However, this is one where I'm going to sort of show the black and white in a little more language way. So the opposing forces, the dark, we call it, although it's not the dark, is a copycat system. They are bringing into reality ways of controlling the collective in order to hold back the ascension, but also then offering certain things, certain ways of being, certain technologies that are in actuality a copycat of what we are stepping into in our higher states of consciousness, evolution, becoming the higher self in the 5D New Earth organic matrix. So I'm going to give you a few examples just so that you can start to fine-tune your eyes and your ears and your heart and your intuition and your discernment to be able to see it more clearly. And perhaps maybe you might have a friend that is ready for this type of conversation and you'll share this video with them. So for example, excuse me, the VR headset, there's an example where you can be in reality and yet experience yourself having a very individualized reality. That is where we are headed. We are going to be collectively in the organic matrix, but we are becoming responsible with our own alchemy in those higher states where our reality will be highly individualized, while collectively we will be in the organic matrix. So it's sort of the same thing, but kind of not the same thing. Another one is all the conversations around carbon and carbon footprints and getting rid of carbon. Well, getting rid of carbon is exactly what we are doing inside of ourselves. As we crystallize our DNA at a DNA level, where we are converting our 666, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, the carbon molecules within our DNA, alchemizing them into the light body that is a 616 crystalline DNA structure. So who's getting rid of the carbon first? We're all doing it. Again, it's a copycat. It is a narrative that is actually speaking truth in a very distorted way. Another example is the identification system that would be like a potato chip that you would put inside. that is, excuse me, speaking to your identity. All of your ID will be there. And in some ways, if not always, your ability to do your, like, all of your monetary stuff would all be connected to this. Well, in actuality, where we're going in the higher dimensional states is a reality where our own inner frequency, our integrity, our honesty will become the determining factor for all forms of abundance. Our abundance codes are being turned on a little bit at a time as we walk our mastery path, as we become more responsible with our energy, as we are fine-tuning our ability to be integrity with ourselves and with God. Those are our abundance codes. Those are our frequency emissions that is going to magnetize the level of abundance that is available to us. It is also going to be our soul signature as an eminent frequency that we put out into the world that says, this is who I am. So again, very similar, not the same, bit of a copycat. Another narrative that came to mind when I was sort of gathering my thoughts to do this video is, in more of a fourth dimensional space, there's a lot of conversation right now, a lot of unveiling of truths and partial truths that are pointing our focus and attention back to the sacredness of the children, and to protect the children, and to honor children, and to really look at what has been happening with children. And ultimately, the higher level calling in those conversations is calling us all back to our own inner child, to rescue, to honor, to reintegrate, and to cherish our own child self as the God spark of divinity that we are and that we came here to be. So many of the conversations that are out there are either a replication of, or it's the truth dressed up in a lie. It's a little bit of a distraction, but the truth is still in there, and it is still an indication of where we are headed. It also represents options, because we do still have free choice and free will to some degree, where we can choose that reality if we would like to, and yet we can also choose to not be a part of that reality and yet still have those experiences in a more organic way, or in the organic way. So it's a bit of a confusing, gobbled up mess of information, energies, codes, distortions, truths, and lies all mixed together, which is the fourth dimension. That is where we are at as a collective right now, where we are learning our discernment. We are learning about ourselves. We're learning about obligation versus trust versus faith. So there are many, many people, excuse me, that are highly charged in their denouncing, frustration around some of these things that are being talked about, that are coming into play in our collective reality. When in actuality, if you just step back and you look with discernment, with wisdom, and you go, okay, what is this? Somewhere in the weeds behind all of that is the truth of actually showing us what we are walking into. Because the dark can't create. That has been the magic of this experience for thousands and thousands of years. They can't create on their own. They have been using us, the sentient, souled, divine people, as their creators through unconscious and subliminal programming. So they know what's available, they know what is possible, but they can't create it on their own without us. So now they're creating all of these narratives, possibilities, technologies, and things that are similar to what we are stepping into, to see if they can just kind of say, shh, come here, we already have it. You don't need to go over there. You don't need to go all the way to New Earth and to 5D to experience your own reality, to experience the thing in the arm with the chip. You don't need to do all of those things. Stay right here. So that's sort of what is playing out. And really, when you can just sort of step back and see it for what it is, it takes the crunch out of it. There is none of this that is going to come to play that you don't have at the highest level a soul choice as to what you've come here to experience. And in that, that's almost a choice of no choice. But it isn't a foregone conclusion that those things are going to happen or that you need to participate in them. We've already seen that once before with the other thing, that we do still ultimately have choice regardless of what the narrative is. So anyway, I could ramble on about this forever. I wanted to offer this to you so that you can start with a little higher level of discernment to truly start to see with all three of your eyes what is actually going on, and that as more and more things come out through the collective, through that dark narrative, that there's going to always be a level of truth, a showing of God's hand, and really like an education in some ways around, if you really unpack what the thing is, what we are stepping into in the higher dimensional states. So as I said, if this video wasn't for you, that's totally cool, but it might be something you might want to share with some of your people that might just be looping in, stuck in, angry about what they're seeing, and they just need a little bit of a nudge to help move them along a little bit. I hope that this helps wherever it lands to whoever it lands. Until next time, bye for now.